2006 by the president of the federation. He's had that dreaded vote of confidence. So it's Mexico then who are attacking here from right to left in those familiar green shirts and white shorts. One of the big nations of world football. They sometimes have it easy through to the World Cup finals because, of course, they're part of the CONCACAF qualifying system, which is Central and Northern America. Indeed, their most recent World Cup qualifier was against Dominica, a two-legged affair which they won 18-0 on aggregate. And their next game is against St. Kitts on the 18th of August. It's much tougher for Ecuador and those in South America. Of course, there's 10 teams who feature. It's a qualifying program of 18 games in all. And Ecuador, despite their problems here in Peru, are currently 5th in qualifying. They won their last 2 games at the start of June. Success over Bolivia 3-2 and Colombia 2-1. But they need to recapture some of that form in this final game for them anyway, in Peru. It's a rather relaxed opening, and Ecuador at the moment seeing a lot of the ball.
Yes, but they have to improve their performances, Tony, won't they? 6-1 defeat against Argentina, a better performance against Uruguay, but they still lost 2-1. So they're not really going to progress from this group, are they? So really it's about the will to win and finish on a high note, ready for those World Cup qualifiers, which come around again in September, October time.
It's that of Julio Davino, who's playing at the centre of the Mexican defence, alongside Claudio Suarez. What a magnificent record in international football he has got, as has Alex Aguinaga of Ecuador, 36 last Friday, here playing his 109th game for his country. This is his 8th Copa America. Equals a record held by Uruguay's Ángel Ramier, who was involved in 8 tournaments between 1916 and 1928, and he won 6 of them. And there's Aguinaga breaking forward.
That was a good chance for Aguinaga there. Came to him. Unfortunately, it got stuck under his feet a little bit. Couldn't get a power or direction on the shot. Hit the defender.
Also making progress down the right-hand side. There was Charlet, who, together with Agustin Delgado, had a time with Southampton in England. Ulysses de la Cruz, wearing number 4, of course, currently with Aston Villa, previously with Hibernian in Scotland. Suarez's clearance. Forward by Torrada. 21 is Aranjo. That's the one for Ecuador and their coaches with quite an old team. Aguinaga, as we mentioned, is now aged 36. Against Uruguay, 5 of the team were aged 30 or over, 2 were 29. Curiously, the coach has kept Franklin Salas, the 22-year-old striker who's made such an impression in his 2 appearances here as a substitute, on the bench for this one.
Yeah, but he might bring him on towards the end of the game and maybe get a goal or 2 for them, might get them the 3 points. So just easing the young player into the international scene, which is good to see.
Hurtado helping the ball back to his goalkeeper, Chinto Espinosa. Giovanni Espinosa playing just ahead of him. They aren't related, however. Adriano with the throw. Mexico have the first corner of the game. I thought that smoking wasn't allowed on the bench. They do things differently in South America, there's no doubt about that. Valencia with a ponytail on the edge of the 6-yard area. Valencia being closely watched. Corner is taken short. Mexico prepared to be patient. 5 to pick out inside that penalty area.
Well, this is a good opportunity now for Mexico. Good play down the right-hand side, playing the short corner. Arello gets fouled in that right wing position. This is like a short corner, really, this free kick. It's going to be very difficult for Ecuador to defend against if there's enough quality on the ball into the box.
Well, Morales, number 14, scored the winner from a free kick against Argentina. And here's over the ball with Arellano. And it's a brilliant save by Espinosa. Decent chance early on. Arellano diving in. And he's got the words Super Chinto on his shirt there. And Espinosa living up to his nickname.
That's a fantastic save, isn't it? It's come through a lot of players, that ball. Free header for Altamirano. But a good save from Estepona in the goal.
It's not easy, is it? Espinosa, and there's 2 of them out there. Arellano tight to that right-hand touchline.
There's the save again, reacts well, it bounces in front of him, pushes it away, and luckily the defenders are on their toes to clear it. Otherwise it would have been 1-0 down within the first 6 minutes.
Has been a demoralising tournament for Ecuador, losing their opening game 6-1 to Argentina, losing their second fixture 2-1 to Uruguay. Guinaga up. Viesca. Fullback who likes to get forward, but denied the opportunity to make a break into the penalty area there by Altamirano.
He has a definite foul there, left his leg dangling, and this is a good place now for Ecuador to try and get on the score sheet and get ahead in this game, which will give them a massive boost of confidence after the last couple of results.
It's almost a mirror image of the position that Mexico found themselves in just a moment or 2 ago. Guinaga over the ball. Iovi has made his way forward. Giovanni Espinosa also in there, and Mexico managed to scramble the ball to safety. The ball did eventually go out of an Ecuador boot.
Well, it's played into the back stick by Arganara, headed back across, but Espinosa can't get enough direction on it, and it goes out for a goal kick. But encouraging start by both teams. As yet no goals, but they're playing some nice football.
And by Shale. No shortage of experience out there. Even Hurtado at the back for Ecuador is making his 114th appearance for his country. And Guinaga, as we mentioned, has clocked up now 109.
Well, they might get better with a bit of experience though, Tony.
Extraordinarily, Hurtado is still only 29. In by Charlie. Don't be confused, because Ecuador have first or Christian names on their shirts. Winston Delgado has had his shortened to Tin. Let's be honest, in his time at Southampton he was a bit brittle, although he needed a couple of knee operations. Now here's a chance for Mexico, breaking forward quickly with Bautista. Limited opportunities for Adolfo Bautista. He was injured in training ahead of the opening game. 2-2 draw with Uruguay, but he did appear off the bench in that fixture. It's a spectacular save that by Espinosa. Suarez trying to mark his return to the Mexican team with a goal.
Well, he really does attack it here. It's there to be headed. He gets up above the defender. Good power in it. Good determination, and another good save from Espinosa.
I think he made it look difficult.
Yeah, he's playing to the cameras, but at least he kept out of the net.
Suarez in there still. Davino also inside the 6-yard area. It's long to Bautista.
You can tell with Mexico that they played lots of games together. All the corners they played short, trying to keep possession, and obviously off the training ground, routines off the training ground, trying to pick things out. That was the chance. Espinosa did make the most of it, Tony, as you said, but he kept it out of the net, and he's made 2 good saves now.
De La Cruz. This is De La Cruz, who had championship success in Ecuador with LDU Quito. 2 titles with them, another with the Barcelona club. Aguinaga switching direction. Towards Delgado. By Charlie. He's playing for Osvaldo Sanchez. Sanchez, the goalkeeper, is featured in all 3 games here.
He's played very well as well, Sanchez. He looks very confident, comes for crosses and takes the crosses rather than punching them like a lot of the foreign keepers like to come and punch. He comes and tries to take the crosses. And you can't underestimate this Mexico side. They play together, got a lot of experience together. And as you said, Tony, earlier, 6 in the world rankings. No mean feat getting up to that sort of level.
Hansel trying to play just off the front 2. Here's Torrado. Torrado has had a rather severe haircut since the start of the tournament. Ariana. Altamirano. Palencia. Saritama it was who brought the ball away then for Ecuador.
Yeah, he's back doing a good job for the team there. He's really should be playing up front with Delgado, or just off Delgado, but he's back doing a job for the team, and that's what Ecuador need to do. They need to get a bit of confidence, a bit of self-belief, a bit of pride back, and put on a good performance here against a good Mexican team.
Aguinaga trying to bustle away through. And he's managed to put the goalkeeper under pressure, and he's got the ball back from him. Well, he is astonished that the decision hasn't gone Ecuador's way. The goalkeeper here was in big trouble, and I think that Ecuador should have had a free kick.
I think they should have had a free kick as well. It's blatant to me. The goalkeeper's tried to be clever, dribble it out his goals, and Aguinar has read it.
Crossing there by Saritama. Breseño.
I think that's just your goalkeeper being overconfident. When it came back to him, he should have just cleared his lines. Don't get too confident. There's the Tin Man.
Agustin Delgado. Aguinaga with the corner kick. Punched away by Sanchez. A lot of distance on that clearance. Slipped by Charlotte. The band has already struck up. Tijuana band, or brass band, has been a feature of this tournament at every ground. 7 stadiums are being used throughout Peru. Previous years the tournament has been held in just one city, but Peru said they wanted to promote the country as much as promote football in South America. It's a really hefty challenge on Bautista. Again, the referee is allowed play to continue.
I was going to say, no free kick given again. But you remember the old days of the brass band when we used to go to First Division games, don't you, Tony? You know, obviously you were only a youngster then those days. You know.
I seem to remember they used to march across the middle. No chance of that here, although last night we did have a floodlight failure which extended things for a minute or two.
Yeah, back to the good old days. But it's great that this is in Peru, you know, they're taking the games out to all the major cities, letting the public see some good football, be entertained, and hopefully that'll encourage some more youngsters to take up the game over in Peru.
And some investment in the stadiums which are rather antiquated. Best part of £4 million has been spent, which doesn't appear to be a great amount, not in European terms anyway.
Yeah, but the same can be said in Portugal. I was out there watching the games out there, and the new stadiums are absolutely magnificent. You know, the Portuguese people hosted it very well. It's good that there was no trouble off the park either, and you know, it was a wonderful spectacle. And now the likes of Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Porto have magnificent stadiums to be playing in, and some of the smaller clubs have got magnificent stadiums as well.
Here's De La Cruz. So strong when he has the opportunity to get forward. Ronaldo's doing his best to get the ball away. Riasca. Shot from Saritama, which was charged down, just 20 years of age. Saritama, we mentioned how old this Ecuador squad is. This evening, Gomez, the coach, has decided to give at least one of his youngsters a chance. Aguinaga. Riasca. Good distribution by Sanchez to try and get Mexico moving again, with Riasca woefully out of position now.
Yeah, it's good to blood the youngsters in a competition like this, especially for Ecuador, where they want to try and get to the World Cup. They're doing quite well in the qualifiers, although their form here hasn't been so good, but give some of the youngsters a bit of experience at this level, and then hopefully that stands them in good stead when it comes to the World Cup qualifiers.
The World Cup qualifying wasn't looking particularly good for Ecuador before their last 2 fixtures. They won the last 2. They've now got a record of played 7, won 3, drawn 1, lost 3. But they are in 5th position. The top 4 go through to Germany automatically. The 5th country will play off against the winners of Oceania. Delgado. He's rather isolated in attack, isn't he, for Ecuador? They've persisted with this one up front throughout the tournament, trying to get support from Aguinaga just behind, and Charlet.
Yeah, it's difficult for the front man playing up there on his own as well. If he's not getting the right service into him, you know, he's not getting a lot of the ball, he's really just working hard, ends up doing it defensively most of the time. But I think as the game progresses, and if it stays at 0-0, then obviously the coach will look to push more players forward, maybe make a couple of substitutions to try and win the game.
A hefty challenge from Giovanni Espinosa. Mexico with 7 players on yellow cards going into this final Group B fixture, and knowing full well that some of those players would be suspended for the quarterfinals should they be cautioned in this game. No surprise that their coach, Levope, has decided to rest several of them. Tirado and Altamirano are the 2 who are currently out there who might be in trouble should they react to challenges like that last one from Giovanni Espinosa.
Yeah, I think it's sensible from the coach to rest the players, but you still want to win the game and finish top of the group, and that's the thing they need to do. But he doesn't want to get any bookings, so they miss out on the quarterfinals. But that's part and parcel of football, isn't it? You go out there and you just got to win your next game. And if they win this game, they go through as top of the group. Or hopefully they will do.
At the moment they're second in Group B. Uruguay are top on, was the slenderest of, well, it's not even goal difference, it's goals scored, 4 against 3 by Mexico. Argentina in third place with 3 points. So we don't know who'll be top, who'll be second, or who'll be third in this particular group. Top of Group B plays second in Group C. Second in Group B plays second in Group A, which will be Peru. The best third place team, and assumes will play Brazil, who are currently top of Group C.
So you never know, it could end up being Brazil-Argentina in the next round.
Indeed. Mexico enjoyed success against Brazil last year in the Gold Cup, although it was against Brazil's under-23 squad, a squad who were preparing for Olympic qualification.
Yeah, the Brazilians do play plenty of games. I mean, even junior level, from under 16 level, they play so many games. They tour the world playing games, and even at the full international level, they play so many games. But a lot of the occasions, they play their under 23 team, because most of their players are away playing in European football.
Here's someone from Ecuador who's currently playing in European football. This is De La Cruz wearing the number 4 shirt. Rampaging right back who once scored 3 goals in an Ecuadorian championship decider. This is his 4th Copa America. He's featured in every game, that's some record.
That was a lovely play from Fernando. Then he came off his man, good first touch, and then put it through the defender's legs. And the defender, Suarez, just body checks him. And this is another free kick in a dangerous situation for Mexico to defend against.
It's even more confusing now because he's got Fernando on his back, and it's Luis Saritama who is wearing the number 13 shirt. The number 10 shirt, and with the ponytail, is Alex Aguinaga, the skipper. Ecuador's most famous and best loved footballer. 3 in the defensive wall, and by Aguinaga. Flag had already been raised for an offside against Soledispa, who's making his first international appearance here for Ecuador.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. This Mexican team, well drilled, well organised. They play together, played plenty of game together. And once that free kick was just about to be taken, they stepped up and played about 6 players offside.
Mexico appearing at their 6th Copa America final. Runners up in '93, that was their debut year, and also in 2001 when they were beaten by Colombia, never eliminated in the first phase.
Here comes the golf buggy again.
Briefly saw Richard Volpe, the former Argentine goalkeeper, who's now in charge of Mexico. He's been under a lot of pressure. The Mexican press don't consider him the best man for the job, even though Mexico have continued to have success. Some speculation that he will be forced to stand down at the end of this year, which doesn't seem to make any sense.
Well, it doesn't seem to make any sense. I think if his side go on and win this championship, I think they'll have to think again, won't they? But you know, they should get through from the World Cup group as well. So why change the manager when you're doing so well?
Well, that's a lucky break, and that surely is a penalty. It's got to be a penalty. It is a penalty. Bautista goes down, and Mexico with their chance now from the penalty spot.
Well, it was a lucky ricochet in the first place, which he stayed on side, but he just toes it past the keeper, knows the keeper's coming out. Estopoza catches him with his left arm there, and it's a definite penalty. Although he's going away from goal, it's a definite penalty for me.
Bautista just happened to be in the right place at the right time then. The arguments are continuing. Espinosa, if he's not careful, is looking to talk his way into the referee's notebook.
The thing is, Tony, once the referee's made up his mind, he's gone straight to the penalty spot, given the penalty, and everybody's arguing with him. Why argue with him? He's not going to change his mind, is he? I know we all get frustrated. I used to argue with everybody, but he's not going to change his mind, is he?
It's remarkable that the coach is involved in such heated discussions on the touchline. Judging by his body language there, you'd think that the decision had been given against Mexico.
I think he's probably just not happy with the way that Mexico has started. He expects more from his team. That's why he's getting on at them. But if they get in front here, it's going to be an uphill task for Ecuador.
Altamirano, a picture of concentration. It will be Hector Altamirano. Altamirano! Oh, he knocked the post! It couldn't have been any tighter!
Well, he knows what he's going to do. He's going up to this. He's going to hit it as hard as he can and keep it as low as he can. But came very close to going wide. But hits the inside of the post. Goalkeeper doesn't move. He's beating him for pace. So it's Mexico 1-0 up. Altamirano, hard and low, in off the post. No chance for the goalkeeper, Estepoza. And a good start for Mexico.
Only his second international goal. He's had a bit of a checkered career. He's 27 now. Had a couple of call-ups in 1999 and 2000, and then had to wait 3 years for his next chance. But he's taken his chance here in this first half, and Mexico have the lead. Are we looking here at the Group B winners? Don't forget, later this evening, Argentina against Uruguay in this same stadium. De La Cruz, he could go all the way. It's De La Cruz still.
Yeah, an excellent run from De La Cruz there from the right-hand side, cutting inside, trying to get a shot in, but good defending from the Mexicans. They were always pushing him across, away from the goals, so he couldn't get a shot in. It was a good block in the end, but people say you're at your most vulnerable when you've just scored a goal. But luckily for Mexico, they've kept on their toes.
Riasco, so important now that Ecuador get back in this game. They crumbled in the second half against Argentina. They lost 6-1. Javier Saviola hitting a hat-trick inside 15 minutes. De La Cruz, it's a really good cross. And what a spectacular effort that was from Agustin Delgado.
Yes, excellent play down the right-hand side again from De La Cruz. Lovely ball whipped in. And Delgado going for the spectacular when it's really, maybe he could have taken it down on his chest and got a shot in a more sensible way, but he took the responsibility for the shot anyway, but it was high and wide.
Agustin Delgado, who's 25 international goals. He needs one more to beat the Ecuadorian record of Eduardo Hurtado, who scored 25 in 74 games for his country. Delgado has played just 57 internationals.
Well, you can see by that scoring record why Southampton actually took a chance on him, but unfortunately they didn't see much of him, did they, Delgado?
Ironically, it was because he'd been playing so well in Mexico for Necaxa that Southampton took a chance with him.
Well, they even saw Lesser Chara. Don't know where he went missing to.
Chala was briefly at Southampton back in 2001. Massive lead by Delgado. Here it is again. So patient, and sorry Nigel, so patient and so composed when they have the chance to work their way out of defence, Mexico.
Yeah, they do. They seem cool. Everybody knows their job. They've got a good team ethic. They work hard for each other. All know their jobs. and making it difficult for Ecuador. But Ecuador are having a go. They're not giving up on this game since they've gone behind, so still all to play for.
De La Cruz. Another really good cross. Saritama. And by Aguinaga. A confirmation there of the substitution which took place around the time of the goal. Morales, who scored with the free kick to win the game against Argentina, has gone off. He's been replaced by Lozano. Oh, what a chance that was for Ecuador. Charlie was coming in, unmarked.
Well, it's a good ball in. It's flicked on at the near post. And Charlie around the back just can't quite get there. The marking was poor on this occasion from Mexico, where it's been very good most of the time. They switched off there and could have found themselves conceding a goal.
Listen to slide off there. Giovanni Espinosa's back then. Wrong-footed one or two of the defenders, and it was clever Charlie who was sliding in. Saritama, eager to make an impression. Watching Mexico against Ecuador, the big one to come. Later it's Argentina versus Uruguay, and this is the tightest of the three groups. Group B, Uruguay top of the group at the moment, Mexico second, Argentina third, and Argentina-Uruguay is a bit like England versus Scotland.
Well, the thing is, both sides know what they've got to do after this game, won't they? If Mexico win this, Uruguay know that they only need a draw to go through with them, where for Argentina to make sure they do qualify will have to win the game. So adds a little bit of spice to that match.
I'm glad we haven't got to work out the mathematics later on. Leave that to George and the boys in the studio.
George will get his calculator out. If he's got a battery in it, that'll make a change.
Here's De La Cruz. Riasca. Soledispa. Fouled there by Palencia.
This was the penalty, hit hard and low by Altamirano. That gave Mexico the lead.
Delgado. So strong to hold off Suarez. Saritama just ahead of it. Run back by Torrado.
But that's good pressure from Ecuador. De La Cruz pushing the defender back, not letting them out their own half. And since the goal, you have to say that Ecuador really have stepped it up a gear. Although they haven't had any clear-cut opportunities in front of goal, at least they pushed Mexico back and looked more likely to get a goal.
Now they have a free kick. He was held back then on the edge of the penalty area. Desenio soothed by the twist and the turn.
Yeah, but it's no need for the defender to get so close there, Briseño. Just get easily turned if you get too close.
Two in the ball. Delgado, an obvious threat inside that penalty area if Aguinaga can find him. Tackled by Sanchez. But some might say he should have held on.
Yeah, I think he's got his Teflon gloves on tonight by the looks of that. This has been from the Aguinara's free kick. That's an easy catch, or should have been an easy catch, and he's given the corner away and could get punished for it.
5 yellow shirts inside that penalty area. Now that's how it's done.
Well, that's how he's been in the previous 2 games. Tonight he's come and punched a couple of things and let a couple of balls slip through his hands as well.
Here's Lozano, just on as a substitute. Replacing Morales in this first half for Mexico. Ironic, really, when you consider that the coach left out so many regulars because he feared they would pick up second yellow cards in this game and rule themselves out of the quarterfinals, that he's lost perhaps one of his most influential players to injury inside the opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was an injury where he landed awkwardly on his ankle as well. It was just nobody else involved in it. He just jumped for a ball, landed awkwardly and had to go off. But hopefully he'll be okay for the quarterfinals if Mexico progress, which they look likely to.
Bautista. Altamirano. Torrado. Rosinho wide on this left-hand side. Davino and Suarez, the 2 in the middle at the back for Mexico. Cruz composed under pressure. Ayubi. Saritama. Aguinaga. Aguinaga is now in his second spell with LDU Quito, who reached the last 16 of the Copa Libertadores earlier this year. Copa Libertadores is the South American equivalent of the UEFA Champions League in Europe. Ironically enough, the coach then left to take over Uruguay and plotted Ecuador's defeat earlier in this tournament.
Again, showing the only goal of the game so far. That penalty from Altamirano. Hopefully we'll get some more goals.
Hurtado. Hurtado, one of 4 members of the Ecuador squad who've played or are playing their club football in Mexico. And back by Soledispa. So nearly an opportunity there for Delgado.
Well, that was very casual, wasn't it?
And here they come again. This time, however, Delgado is running back from an offside position.
Yeah, but Mexico got to be careful. They don't start getting sloppy. So far they defended well, but you can't take too many liberties that they did on the last couple of occasions.
Already 1 goal at this tournament for Agustin Delgado, scored in the 6-1 defeat by Argentina. In fairness, his time at Southampton was troubled by injury. He had 2 knee operations. He cost Southampton, what, £3.5 million, but he was never able to show his best.
No, it's a shame really, because on the showing this evening so far, he's held the ball up well, brought other people into the game. He's had a couple of shots at goal and looks fit. So a shame things didn't work out for him at Southampton.
Cruz. Ecuador and Mexico went to the last World Cup. Ecuador, the big surprise is really they qualified. They qualified in 2nd place in South America. Curiously enough, they were there ahead of Brazil and Paraguay. And they finished bottom of their group, a group with Croatia, Italy and Mexico, who they lost to 2-1. They trailed to Mexico 1-0. Penalty after 22 minutes, put away by Hector Altamirano. Bautista. Now Torrado. Here's Suarez, 35 years of age. Missed the World Cup in 2002. He broke a leg just before the competition was about to begin in Korea and Japan. Saritama. He's been very lively during this first half. That's in towards Delgado. Delgado again might get his chance. Hurtado. There's a news foul.
Yeah, he's given away too many fouls, Brasino, in that position. He gets too tight to people and tries to win the ball when he's got no chance. He's just held people up, make him play the way he's facing, which is backwards, and then defend again, but he keeps giving too many free kicks away.
Mexico needs to come into the squad in the past 12 months or so. Made his debut at the Gold Cup last year in the fixture against Bolivia. Mexico went on to win. Vinagre's left this free kick. It's been taken by Hurtado. Saritama. Davino. Bautista. Oh, what a magnificent goal! Fabulous goal by Adolfo Bautista. Wonderful, wonderful strike. Well, he was injured for the start of this tournament. He came on as a substitute against Uruguay. He's in from the start here. And what a magnificent effort that was. The coach unimpressed.
Well, it just sits up lovely for him. He hits it across the goals, across the goalkeeper. The keeper gets a slight hand to it. But it's a wonderful finish from Bautista. Lovely pass from Davino from the back. But again, you have to look at the marking from Ecuador in that position. That's where the penalty came from, and that's where the second goals come from, in that position. Bautista just pulling off into that space. And what a wonderful finish that was. Let it bounce up and put it away aplomb.
Bautista has a terrific scoring record. That's his 7th goal in 14 games for his country. 25-year-old who plays for Guadalajara. Borghetti is the big name striker for Mexico. We mentioned just before kickoff that he has returned home because his sister has died in the last few days. His teammates all wearing black ribbons on their shirts. This is a striker with the reputation and the experience. Bautista here making the most of his chance, however.
Oh yes, fantastic finish for the goal, and as I said, he got brought down by the goalkeeper Esposa for the penalty as well, so he's had a good first half.
Those odds of 7-1 on Mexico winning this tournament, you consider that this is almost half their second string anyway. Rather inviting at the moment.
Well, it just shows that they've got a strong squad of players at the moment if they keep this work ethic.
Here they come again with Lozano. Oh, the goalkeeper only just got that. Espinosa got a whack on his fingers, did he, or was it his knee?
I think he's making the most of it. It's a good move down the left. Nice inviting ball in. Esposa's coming off his line, but Bautista's going for it, but catches him on the hand, I think, but Esposa making the most of it. This was the goal. Sat up lovely, didn't panic, waited for it to come down. Picked his spot across the goalkeeper and beat the keeper with that power into the far corner.
Was a terrific shot. Chinto Espinosa making his first appearance at this championship. Coach deciding to play him here ahead of Giovanni Ibarra. And it could be that Ecuador will have to make a substitution.
Well, they are going to make the substitution, and all the Ecuador players are complaining, saying that Bautista should have got a yellow card or even more. But I didn't think there was much of a collision there.
Well, it was one of those 50-50 balls, wasn't it? It was a cross which Bautista was entitled to go for. The goalkeeper seemed just a pace or two slow off his line.
Well, yeah, I don't think he saw him coming in, and he gathered the ball and then went down. So looks like he's going to have to go off. But let's hope he's not too badly injured.
Another lengthy delay. Actually, René Higuita, the former Colombian goalkeeper, is the goalkeeping coach now for Ecuador. Remember Higuita at Wembley in 1995, a famous scorpion kick when he cleared.
Well, I remember that, but Bautista did get booked after all, so we're not happy with that. So if you complain enough at the referee, maybe you do get a fellow player booked.
Ibarra has played in the two previous fixtures in goal for Ecuador. They have a third choice, however. Damian Lantha, just 22 years of age. Here we can see the incident again. Now, I think that was his teammate. I think it was actually his teammate there, Giovanni Espinosa, who caught him.
Well, he's only been caught on the hand there. I mean, he's gone down like he's been shot, really, but I think it's only a slight touch on the hand.
And Bautista didn't touch him at all.
Well, it didn't look like it from there, Tony, but he's got a booking. The referee's given him a yellow card. I don't know if they'll be able to appeal against it, but let's get him off if he's going off, and let's get on with the game.
No, I don't think Bautista got anything on the ball or the hand then. It didn't twist when he span away from his teammate Espinosa. Whatever, Lantha is set to make his appearance here, his first ever international appearance. No wonder he's itching to get on.
He might make a great recovery yet. I mean, it's from 45 minutes now, we'll come up to 48 minutes. Maybe make a miraculous recovery.
Now that was what you call a Mexican wave.
Well, they should be doing the Mexican wave at the moment. They're 2-0 up. Very happy. And now the Ecuador goalkeeper's going off.
Curious that Gomez, the coach there, was having a little bit of a chuckle. Gomez is from Colombia. He actually led Colombia to the World Cup in 1998 and took Ecuador there in 2002. Confirmation now of the change. Lantha on for his international debut. Celebrated his 22nd birthday in April.
That's good. Another youngster getting a cap, getting the experience of playing in the Copa America.
Now both teams have been forced to make first half substitutions. Morales having gone off already for Mexico, to be replaced by Lozano, whose cross then caused so many problems for Chinto Espinosa.
I think he was just offside this time, Bautista, but he keeps getting into that position in between the centre half and the defender with the left back, and he scored one and been brought down for a penalty on the other occasion.
Well, you can't deny that it hasn't been a lively first half. Chinto Espinosa, the Ecuadorian goal, the game that Ecuador lost 2-1 here at half-time. they trail 2-0, and they've also had to change their goalkeeper, Damien Lanther, making his first ever appearance for his country at the age of 22. Came on just before half-time because Chinto Espinosa was injured. So the second half is underway then, and it's Ecuador who get us underway. 2 goals down at half-time, and heading perhaps to a third successive defeat at these Copa America Championships. Ecuador went to the last World Cup, won the group which included Croatia, who they beat 1-0, Italy and Mexico, who they lost to 2-1. And there is confirmation of that change. Salas is on. It's replaced Kleber Chala. Chala, who for a time was with Southampton along with Agustin Delgado. Delgado, who needs 1 more goal to become Ecuador's all-time highest goal scorer. He's managed 25 so far, one of them at these championships in Peru in the 6-1 defeat by Argentina. Mexico, it seems, though, comfortably heading through to the last 8. Will they go through, though, as group winners? They have 4 points at the moment, in second place on goals scored, second to Uruguay. Obviously, they'll go top should the score stay this way, and then it's Uruguay against Argentina next at this stadium. Number 7 is Salas, the substitute. 11, Agustin Delgado. Nigel Spackman alongside me. Your impressions of the first half, Nigel, and the performance by Mexico particularly?
Well, I think for Mexico it just shows the strength in depth they have and the experience they have, as Bobby Gould was saying at half-time, because they've made 5 changes because of the yellow card situation. And there's just 2 who started the game who had yellow cards. So it just shows that 5 players can come in and it doesn't stop the performance. They've still played very well, scored 1 outstanding goal from Bautista, the second goal. And it's just see if they can score any more in the second half. But Ecuador didn't give up on it. They kept plugging away. But I don't think they can turn this result around.
I read an interview with Lavolpe, the Mexican coach, the Argentine-born Mexican coach, where he said that we're one of the front runners because we finished second before. We have a good chance of winning this competition. So he's not short on confidence.
Well, it's good because he's been under a bit of pressure, hasn't he, from the supporters especially. But if they keep performing as they have done so far in this competition and as they've done in the first half, then they look a good side, capable of actually winning this competition.
Stumble there by Salas. There's Altamirano, who scored the opening goal from the penalty spot. Ecuador's coach there, Hernan, or Bolillo as he's known, Gomez. Colombian, who was actually shot before the last World Cup. He was shot in the leg by a club president for not picking a player called Dalo Bucaram, who is the son of the now fugitive ex-president of Ecuador. So he very nearly did get the bullet in 2001. He's been told, however, that his position is safe, even though he has volunteered to resign after these championships. So disheartened was he by the performance in that opening fixture against Argentina.
Well, I'm sure if he was in Colombia, he would have resigned by now, instead of getting shot.
Bautista. Held up by Hurtado. Mexico looking for the corner kick. Bautista scored that magnificent goal for Mexico, which came just 3 minutes before half-time.
Yeah, it was an excellent goal, wasn't it? A good run, beat the offside trap, didn't panic in the situation he was in, clear onto the defence, just the goalkeeper to beat. It sat up lovely for him, he just took his time and hit it in with real power and precision into the far corner. The keeper got a little touch to it, but a very good goal. And that's really, I think, has killed off Ecuador in this contest and in the competition.
Salas, just on as a substitute. Ariano. Ariano, who was suspended for the start of the last World Cup. Right-sided midfielder who can also operate in attack. '19 is Lozano, who came on as a first-half substitute for Mexico. Ramon Morales forced off injured. It's the second time that these teams have met this year. Valencia. Ariano. Yasco with a header clear. Really determined play by Valencia.
It was a great challenge, wasn't it, Tony, down there? Really, striker getting the tackle in on the defender. That's not seen too often, but his determination got in there and he won the ball. Got the cross in, but not the best of crosses.
Aguinaldo. De La Cruz, always prepared to get forward. De La Cruz once more. Salas skipped easily away from the challenge. Here's Delgado. Strong defending by Claudio Suarez.
It was good defending from Suarez as well. Good strength, got himself between the player and the ball and let it run through to the goalkeeper. Good defending, read the situation well, and good upper body strength.
Suarez at the age of 35 getting the chance to play his 172nd international. Mexico not prepared to take a chance in this particular fixture with Rafael, or Hugo Marquez as he's sometimes known in Spain, with Barcelona. Marquez, one of those Mexicans currently on a yellow card. They've got their sights on the quarterfinals already. They don't want to take any risks. The question is, who will they play in the quarterfinals? 3 countries with a chance of winning Group B. It's as tight as that. Mexico, if they win here, will put Argentina out of reach.
I think that's all you can do if you're Mexico, is just go out and win your game, get your 3 points, hopefully finish top of the group, but you know you're going to at least finish second.
Here's Riasca. Both fullbacks enjoy the opportunity to join the attack whenever they can. Delgado with extra support in this second half from Salas. I mentioned earlier that it's the second time that Mexico and Ecuador have met this year. Mexico won a friendly in March, 2-1.
They impressed me in Mexico. They're a good, solid team. They defend well. When they lose it, they get behind the ball. They all have a good work ethic. They all know their jobs. And when they break forward in numbers. So with the 5 changes as well, you have to say that their squad must be up there. They've already beaten Argentina, who are the favourites. So it's going to be an interesting quarter-final, semi-final, and maybe if they can get to the final, they might end up playing Argentina again.
It never stops lighting up. Maybe learned that from Cesar Menotti, who of course was his Argentine coach.
I was going to say the same thing there, but I don't know if he lights up quite as much as Menotti used to. But if it brings him success, he'll be happy.
Volpe took over in 2002, just after the World Cup.
I don't think we'll be encouraging any of our managers to do that, will we? I mean, they all go through the fitness regime now. and they're all taken care of by the LMA, all the managers. That's good to see, because it is a very stressful job, as I can tell you. Makes your hair fall out. So
at least you didn't have club presidents shooting at you.
No.
Here's the fate of Hernan Gomez. De La Cruz then with the free kick. Using that for Sanchez, who's wearing the skipper's armband here. Perhaps a surprise. You'd have thought that with Suarez in the lineup, they would have given it to the senior member of this squad. On by Aguinaga. Another positive run forward by De La Cruz.
Yeah, he's done well, De La Cruz, down that right-hand side, hasn't he? From the right-back position, getting forward, putting good balls into the box. But I used to see him playing up in Scotland. He was playing as a wing-back, so he can get forward. He's not frightened to get into that final third.
And by Saritama. Salas popping up now on the right-hand side.
I think she's enjoying the game. And looking forward to the second game coming up as well.
Yes, there's a lot to be said for playing two fixtures in the same ground on the same evening. Certainly get value for money, and the authorities in Peru decided to peg the ticket prices back, and to aware that they needed to make this affordable for everyone.
Right.
Prisoners, in fact, sorry, Nigel, prisoners from one of the jails in Lima were being allowed out if they had good behaviour merits on their criminal records for some of the fixtures being played in Lima.
Good incentive, but it's fantastic to see so many grounds which are full. The players want to obviously play in front of full crowds. They don't want empty stadiums, but I don't think it'll catch on in Europe, because there's so many supporters who want to go and watch the World Cups or the European Championships or whatever. They can't play back-to-back games. The stadiums just aren't big enough, are they?
It's a super ball by Palencia to Bautista. Well, he's full of confidence, and Ecuador are struggling to get to grips with his pace as much as anything.
Well, he keeps getting in on this right-hand side, between the left centre-back and the left-back. He's a good to bright player, but he knows what he's trying to do. They're trying to chip the goalkeeper. He had a look at the goalkeeper, saw him off his line, tried to chip it over him, but couldn't get it up and down in time. So that's a good opportunity for Batista to put them 3-0 ahead.
Lozano. Lozano the first to approve of the through ball there from Tirado.
There's been some biting tackles this evening, hasn't there? That's another good tackle there from De La Cruz, but it's gone out for a corner. Do they sell hot dogs in the stadium?
Another stray. Wenzel can't escape his marker. I don't think the referee has actually seen our uninvited guest just yet.
Well, I thought the referee'd had a good game. I don't know what his guide dog's doing there, do you?
Cynthia looks more worried about the dog than Espinosa on his shoulder. Away by Delgado. Chases on for Salas. Briseño. Fullback who at times during the first half looked rather vulnerable when he was confronted by Ulises De La Cruz. No particularly good clearance by the young goalkeeper, the young replacement goalkeeper, Damien Lanza.
Yeah, he got away with that, didn't he? Obviously on his weaker left foot, and he scuffed it. But they went to an Ecuador player, otherwise he could have been embarrassed there. Argentine coach in charge of Mexico.
decides to make a substitution. Bautista has gone off. Mario Mendes is the player who's now come on for Mexico.
I think that's a sensible substitution. Bautista's scored a wonderful goal, got brought down for a penalty, but he also got a yellow card, and with the quarter-finals looming, don't want him getting another booking and sending off and then missing those games.
Apart from the goalkeepers, every member of the Mexican squad has had a game now.
Well, that's good for the future games, and everybody's obviously going to be match fit up to the tempo of the games, and the coach will hopefully have a full squad to pick from for the next game. So it's looking good for Mexico at the moment.
Volpe says that he likes this tournament because the Copa gives Mexico much stiffer opposition than they were getting in the early rounds of World Cup qualifying. Part of the CONCACAF group, of course, the North Central American grouping plus the Caribbean.
Well, I think you're right. Was it Honduras? They beat 18-0 on aggregate, and they faced Dominican Republic, and they got some kits next. I think, you know, playing against the likes of Ecuador, Argentina, Uruguay, and maybe in future rounds Brazil, it's going to be a lot tougher, isn't it?
And 6th in the FIFA World Rankings at the moment. There is House 4th. There's been some readjustment in this past month, of course, with the completion of the European Championships.
And what did Greece zoom up 21 places or something like that, was it? I don't know. It just shows you if you're organised and you've got a good work ethic, you know, and the will to win. A little bit of luck along the way, but anything can happen, as Greece showed.
Aguinaldo was hoping that something might happen. Looks rather world-weary now.
Well, he was leaning back, wasn't he? He's worked very hard. Showed some lovely touches, put a couple of good balls through as well for Delgado. But on this occasion, leaning back and got underneath the ball, and it's high and wide and not troubling the goalkeeper.
36 now. Aguinaldo plays for LDU Quito back in Ecuador. Second spell with that club. At his best years, perhaps, in Mexico with Necaxa. Won 3 titles. Hurtado. Another who has played in Mexico and also Spain. Salas. Now De La Cruz. Iovi. Is the substitute that Ecuador are at the moment readying. It's another striker. De La Cruz. And by Salas. Mexico showing just how well organised they are. Everybody back now. Saritama.
That was unlucky, it just came behind him. He made a great run in, it's a lovely little reverse ball into him, but just slightly came behind him and he couldn't get out of his feet, and Mexico were able to clear and counter-attack.
Palencia, options inside that penalty area. Should have gone in by Jesus Arellano. Hurtado, Ecuador's most important player, showing why he's so experienced. Figueroa all set to come on for his 4th appearance. And the old man is going off. Alex Aguinaldo says that he will retire this year. Aguinaldo, having completed 25 games in the Copa, this is the 8th time that he's featured in the tournament.
Well, that's some record, isn't it? And maybe making way now for younger players, but he's had a fantastic career. Looked good for an hour tonight, just got tired in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Ariano. Really neatly done by Ariano. That's a decent cross too. De La Cruz to head clear.
It was good play, wasn't it, from Ariana? Lovely turn. The defender got too tight again. He's away from him. Lovely ball at the back post, but there's De La Cruz doing a good job in that full-back position, getting in front of the striker and heading it away.
Ecuador have now used all 3 substitutes. Aguinaga having gone off, Chala having gone off at half-time to be replaced by Salas. Of course, right at the end of the first half, their goalkeeper, Chinto Espinosa, replaced by Damian Lanza. Delgado. Salas well forward here. Soladispa. Another of the newcomers for Ecuador. De La Cruz. Easy for Sanchez.
Yeah, good save from Sanchez. Kept his eye on it. Came off his line, gathered it. But again, De La Cruz getting forward down that right-hand side. This time, maybe the cross was just too near to the goalkeeper.
Beginnings of another genuine Mexican wave. It's a shame, really, because the crowd have started to lose a little bit of interest. So many substitutions. It's difficult rather for a team to keep their shape and to keep their momentum going.
Well, it is, but obviously the crowd are going to look forward to the next game as well. This game seems to be over at the moment. Mexico seem very comfortable. Unless Ecuador get a goal in the next 10-15 minutes, I think really we're just playing out time.
Another strong run by De La Cruz. Delgado was under that. Suarez to clear eventually. And by Lafana.
That's a good hat for you there. The girl had a cap with binoculars in there, so you don't have to carry them around.
Mexico have their eyes firmly focused on the quarterfinals. Ecuador can start to look again to World Cup qualifying. The South American program begins again in September. They'll next go to Uruguay on the 5th of September. Ecuador currently 5th in South American qualifying. They won their last 2 games at the start of June. Saratam. Gerardo stepping in. But Saratama has impressed for Ecuador. Only 20 years of age, given his chance by Gomez, who we saw there briefly. And by Salas. Away by Bezenio.
It's good pressure this from Ecuador. Pushing Mexico back at the moment, but they still can't break them down.
Delgado. Iovi. Iovi's got to the byline.
That was good positive play, that. Getting in behind the defence, getting the ball in, and led to this corner.
In by Saritama. Away by Brezenio. Mariano. Mariano now playing more centrally for Mexico. Started the game in midfield, but he can play as an attacker. Batista, who scored their second goal, has been substituted. De La Cruz.
Well, he's kept pushing forward, De La Cruz down that right-hand side. Showed great energy levels, but on this occasion his left foot cross has gone right across the park and out for a throw-in. But as I said, Ecuador haven't given up on it. They've given everything, but it doesn't look like they're going to get anything out of this game. And they're going to go home and rebuild for the World Cup qualifiers coming up, which is in September, October.
Hurtado. De La Cruz again. Terrific cross in towards Delgado. Davino to head clear. Saritama. Now Salas. Brilliantly done by Salas! And it's Delgado who's got the goal! Record breaker. His 26th international goal. He is now Ecuador's all-time top goal scorer. The striker who struggled at Southampton has shown he can still do it at the highest level.
Well, this is about getting a bit of pride back. Can they get anything out of this game? 20 minutes or so to go. Saritama did well, got it out to Salas. Lovely little ball into the middle. And Delgado between the two defenders. Just has to get this on target, as he does. Heads it down into the bottom corner. And Sanchez in the goal, absolutely no chance. Game on.
Just under 20 minutes remaining. There's still time, perhaps, for Ecuador. And in fairness, they have worked hard in the second half. De La Cruz of Aston Villa particularly. Lozano. It's far too long for Arellano.
But it's a lovely ball in, just floated in at the right height. Delgado taking a step back and then getting plenty of power into that header. Down in the bottom corner. Good finish and a well-worked goal.
Delgado, who made his name in Mexico. Featured at the World Cup Championships, that event which FIFA introduced before the World Cup in 2002.
I think they're bringing it back, aren't they, Tony? Which is going to cause problems for the European sides. Lovely floated ball in, isn't it? Delgado doesn't miss from there. And now we do have a game on.
And what a difference Salas has made, bringing on that second attacker.
Well, he's given them plenty of energy, hasn't he? The two youngsters, Saritama and Salas, look lively, getting in around Delgado when they can, and pushing Mexico back.
And he came off the bench and scored against Uruguay, Franklin Salas. Just 22 years of age, as is the goalkeeper here, Damian Lantha. And as a substitute just before half-time. Saritama, who's really caught the eye. Number 13 is just 20.
That bodes well for the future for them, doesn't it, Ecuador? Youngsters coming through, playing with some of these experienced players.
Mariano is now going off for Mexico. They're set to make their final substitution here. Osorno is coming on, Daniel Osorno. Osorno, striker with Monterrey. Another really positive run forward by De La Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see him getting forward down that right-hand side. He's pushing his opposite winger and fullback deeper and deeper.
Delgado. Saritama, Salas ahead of him. Ran into trouble when he ran into Torrado.
Yeah, Torrado's done well at that, protecting his back four this evening, breaking things up.
Palencia. And by Lozano. Since Mexico are happy just to ease their way through this second half. Their supporters are happy enough.
Yeah, but sometimes, Tony, when you've been cruising, it's been easy for you, and you suddenly concede a goal. It's very hard for you to pick it back up. And at the moment, it's Ecuador on top and pushing Mexico back.
Just under 15 minutes remaining. Can they conjure up a second goal? They have a free kick. Salas foul. Inch forward towards Delgado. De La Cruz again well forward. Merino to head clear. Soladispa. Riasco. Saritama to his left. Riasco prepared to cut inside, and that is right on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous situation this for Mexico. They've been pushed back now. Ecuador have got the bit between their teeth. Everybody's getting forward. And that's a definite foul on Riasco, right on the corner of the 18-yard box. And this could be bent in here, maybe by Salas.
Mario Menzies committed the foul. Sanchez certainly the busier of the two goalkeepers in the second half so far. Ecuador have pulled the goal back. Can they level? Tardo and De La Cruz, the two who are having a look here. Delgado is positioned almost on the edge of that defensive wall. Tardo. Oh, it's come away from the goalkeeper. And still they can't get it clear.
What a scramble that is. It took a slight deflection, it's hit the goalkeeper on the chest and bounced out. But Ecuador couldn't get it in the back of the net.
The ball was spinning around like a pinball. It was a decent stop by Sanchez, but he could only help it back into the penalty area. Salas. Now Delgado.
Another free kick.
It was high on De La Cruz. And it's a yellow card. Yellow card for Lozano.
It was one of those balls that held up. De La Cruz was brave going for it. But Lozano high. But this is a slight deflection. It's come off Sanchez. And then it's good defending in the end. And they've hacked it away.
Saritama was the first to react. As the ball claimed clear. De La Cruz clobbered by Jaime Lozano.
Well, let's hope De La Cruz is okay. It looks like he is. Thankfully for all those Aston Villa fans out there. But this is a dangerous situation, this, for Mexico.
Another thumping free kick. Delivered not once but twice, and Ecuador felt that there was a handball then. But they could be cruelly exposed at the back here. It's 4 against 4. Can Mexico make it count? Lozano! Terrific save by Lantha. 22-year-old making his international debut as a substitute for Ecuador. He's had little to do, but he responded magnificently then.
Well, that's the first thing he's really had to save in this second half, isn't it? Good shot from Lozano, and Lantha got down to his left-hand side, pushed it out for a corner, low down. That'll give him a bit of confidence.
Lenson inside the 6-yard area. He was the target, or the intended target. You're almost under hit that back pass. Sanchez, the goalkeeper, out quickly, and his distribution was good then.
He's been given offside, I think, Nico. Whereas Ecuador, you have to say, in the second half, they've looked the better team. I think Mexico just got into that lethargic spell of trying to just see the game out, and they've been caught, and lucky that that's not on level terms.
Still difficult to decide who will win Group B. Uruguay, who have yet to play Argentina this evening. The game following this, top going into this last round of fixtures. They've scored more goals, or they had scored more goals than Mexico. Uruguay, Mexico, Argentina. Argentina with 3 points, Uruguay and Mexico with 4 each. It's fair to assume, or it was fair to assume, that Mexico would end with 7. But can Ecuador possibly come back and get a second goal and their first point?
Well, they're really giving it a go, aren't they? But they're running out of time with 10 minutes or so remaining. They need to get that second goal, and if they push more and more players forward, they could get hit on the counter-attack by Mexico.
The runners-up in Group B will play the runners-up in Group A, who are Peru. Espinosa unhappy. Bolt has now stopped smoking. Strange that, since it's probably the most anxious time in the game for him.
I think he's probably run out, that's why.
Plenty. Hammered forward by Hurtado. An over-ambitious long ball from the back. Salas.
Oh, Salas,
that was it.
Sorry, Tony. He's done well since he's come on, Salas, hasn't he? I mean, he's been lively, linked the play between the midfield and the striker, and then he's pulled himself away onto this left-hand side where he likes to come in and be tricky and get it onto his right foot. And he's also not bad on his left foot when he got down there and crossed it in for Delgado's goal.
This game has been enjoyable. Look what follows. Argentina versus Uruguay. As we mentioned previously, it's just like England versus Scotland. It is the big game in South America in some ways. You can see that later here on Sky Sports 1. The referee quickly reaching for his yellow card there. It seemed a bit harsh. Sono just tripped then.
Yeah, he just slid in, mistimed it, and the referee thinks that warrants a yellow card. I've been very impressed with the officiating at this competition so far, Tony, in the games that I've seen. All the referees have handled it very well and only brought out the cards where it's been deemed necessary, not overreacted at all.
Yellow then for Soldadispa. Feeling there that he was given a nudge in the back. He is pressed further forward now for Mexico. Mexico ahead from the penalty spot after 22 minutes after Adolfo Bautista had been fouled. It was Bautista who made it 2-0 3 minutes before half-time. Ecuador then had their goalkeeper, Chinto Espinosa, carried off, injured. Ecuador have shaded the second half. And they're back in it thanks to that goal from Agustin Delgado, his 26th international goal. Saritama with Salas, 20-year-old and the 22-year-old. They will have their eyes on the next round of World Cup qualifying fixtures in September. Ecuador went to the last World Cup, although they finished bottom of their group, a group with Croatia, Italy and Mexico. And they started this Copa America with a rather elderly team, 5 over 30 and 2 age 29 against Uruguay. At least the coach has been prepared to give several of the fringe members of the squad their chance in this game. And they have responded in this second half. But here come Mexico with Palencia.
What a waste that was. It's good build-up play. Had a player out to his right. And just decided to take the shot on and was leaning back. No conviction in it. He'd been far better just playing out to his right-hand side.
31 now, Palencia, who is playing for Guadalajara and who had a time in Europe, in Barcelona with Espanyol. Giovanni Espinosa to clear. That was ambitious, and it wasn't too far away.
No, very
Figura
good.
Just on as a substitute.
Great awareness, wasn't it, Tony? Saw the goalkeeper of his line, it just bounced up from him, hit it on the volley, and Sanchez was struggling to get back across his goals there. That was on target. I think that would have been in the back of the net.
Figueroa making only his 5th international appearance. Riasco's worked hard. Ecuador now running out of time. Delgado. And by Palencia. Then Lozano. Briseño. Dorado left the ball behind. Saritama to pick out Delgado, who's come wide now. Saritama through the middle with Salas. Valencia doing his best to get Valdez in then.
Well, time's running out for Ecuador, but they have really given it a go in the second half, haven't they? Had been 2-0 down, getting it back to 2-1, but I think it's just going to be beyond them getting anything out of this game.
And Ecuador never have much good fortune, it seems, against Mexico in the Copa America. They lost to Mexico in a semi-final penalty shootout back in 1993. Alex Aguinaga actually played in that game. And they lost in the quarterfinals in 97. Torrado. And by Valdez. Here's Briseño. Easy take for Lantha. He's only had the one save to make in the second half.
Yeah.
From Lozano, which he managed to push around the post.
Yeah, but it was a good save, wasn't it? Down to his left-hand side, got down well for a big man and pushed it away. His distribution there was very quick, but it's a free kick for Mexico, and they're just going to try and see out time, keep possession.
Mexico do hang on to win this. They've made it difficult for themselves in the second half. It would mean that Argentina can finish no higher than second in Group B, even if they beat Uruguay. Three extra minutes. Dug out by Bresenga. Pasente. Altamirano. Can't get past Riasco. Figueroa. The Mexican coach deep in thought, already perhaps wondering who Mexico's next opponents will be. Iovi. Riasco. Hammered clear by Bresenga. Out towards De La Cruz, and that's a smart header down to Salas. De La Cruz with the cross, might bounce to Delgado. Whistle had already gone.
Well, they're still pushing Mexico back, aren't they? But they're running out of time into the last minute and a half. I think Mexico are just about going to hold on.
We saw in the game last night, didn't we, Nigel, when it means so much to win a final game like this that it can be a very open and entertaining fixture.
Yes.
Bolivia against Venezuela, which had so many chances, and Ecuador following the pattern in this second half. They've in effect got three up front now with Delgado, Salas and Figueroa.
Yeah, and you just wonder if the coach now regrets not putting some of the younger players into the team in the first game, because on this showing, especially in the second half, you know, with the likes of Salas, Saramata, they've had some good performances out there from the youngsters.
If they win, Mexico will have kept their promise to their teammate Yared Borghetti, who's had to return home following the death of his sister. Tragic news for him and his family. But the rest of the squad said that he should go home to be with his family, and they would complete this first phase with a win against Ecuador. And they're now just seconds away from their second win at the Copa America 2004.
Yeah, and as we were saying, Tony, the coach will be extremely pleased. He made 5 changes because players were on yellow cards, and they've still won this game.
And there is the confirmation. Mexico are successful. 2 first-half goals. The first from the penalty spot from Hector Altamirano, the second by